We had opportunity. The Lakers had an opportunity to close out in Houston, get a 4-0 series sweep. I ain't gonna lie to you. Your boy, he was ready. He was ready to bring out the broom, but unfortunately, the Lakers couldn't get in. They got in their own way with the turnovers, not getting back in transition. All those things took into play because Lakers are very, very fortunate in these past two games of having high turnovers, but finding a way to still pull out and get the victory. Now, it wasn't the same for last night's game. When you have that many turnovers, the Houston Rockets took advantage of that. LeBron James showed the signs of fatigue throughout that entire game. And they didn't really get much out of your role players, besides Marcus Smart. But other than that, who was going to be the one to step up in a critical closeout game? But you know what the beauty of being up 3-0, but now being up 3-1 is you have another opportunity this Wednesday to close the series out. So, it's got some big news. Can we see the possibility of Austin Reeves returning to the Lakers lineup for game number 5? And then, I don't do this much. You guys know me. I'm never the type to talk about the referees in the NBA. But it's time to have a real discussion on the calls, the ejections, the technical fouls. Like, what are we doing? So, before we do any of that, you guys know, let's talk about my friends at Pechanga Resort Casino. And you can play a perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic. Head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. Man. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I went into game 4 with the possibility, you know what, the Rockets are probably going to come out with a lot more energy, which they did. They did in that game, in game number 3. Look, we didn't even get a chance to talk about that, by the way. What about that? Game 3, there's no quit with this Lakers team. There's no quitting Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is playing all the way through the whistle. Gets that steal from Jabari Smith Jr., and you're wondering in that play. I'm glad it just came to mind because, like I said, we did not get a chance to talk about this. The heads-up play by Marcus Smart, playing through it, being able to get fouled on the three-point line, knocking down all 3 free throws, and LeBron James, he's not going to finish. He keeps on playing, ends up poking the ball loose from Reed Shepherd, comes down the other end of the floor. He nearly turned the ball over, by the way. Nearly turned the ball over. Was able to tip it to Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard gives it back to LeBron James, ties the game up. We head in overtime. And the moment the game was going to overtime, I knew the Lakers were going to pull out and win. I knew they were going to win game number 3. So it was a good sign. We're thinking that, they got them 3-0. They have the Houston Rockets on the ropes. All right. And yeah, Lakers got all the momentum with the storyline. Kevin Durant got a bone bruise in his ankle. Okay. What is going to happen for game number 4? And unfortunately, turnovers killed the Lakers last night, which has been the big storyline throughout this entire series for the Los Angeles Lakers. They've been having a big turnover problem. And one thing that was really surprised me is LeBron James having a high turnover ratio. LeBron James himself had 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers. Now, that could just be that there was a day off in between these games. Possibly so. Not enough rest for LeBron James. But the plays and him trying to, the Lakers trying to get out and run, but there was no numbers. Like, slow it down a little bit. The Houston Rockets are doing what they want you to do, speed you up, play their style of basketball. And Lakers, once again, they're very, very fortunate to pull out these victories with knowing that they had a lot of turnovers. And JJ Redick was asked that after the game on game number 4, and him just saying, look, the things that we can control having less turnovers, trying to figure out a way to cut that in half, which I do believe the Lakers are going to cut those turnovers in half heading into game number 5. Because, listen, if you cut half of those turnovers, half of them, Lakers had 23 turnovers as a team. Now, if you just cut half of that, now all of a sudden it's a different ball game. Now all of a sudden it's a neck to neck, it's close, It's a clutch game, which Lakers thrive in clutch situations when you got a Houston Rockets team who what? They struggle and they fold under pressure when it comes to them in the clutch series. Now, turnovers of the story. Lakers couldn't make shots, specifically from the three-point line. They shot 23%, 5 of 22 from three. Okay, cool. Beauty of it. You're up 3-1 now. You're heading to game 5. Deondre Ayton. So there was a play where Deondre Ayton was on a one-on-one situation with Alperen Sengun, right? And Alperen Sengun had a hell of a game. He had a strong performance. 19 and 6, but it's really, really efficient. Now, Alperen Sengun, he's known for kind of flailing his body a lot. We see that in this entire series. He's on the floor a lot. Alperen Sengun, for his size, is on the floor a lot. Now, him driving to the basket, trying to, presumably I'm assuming that he was going to do a jump stop. And what Alperen Sengun, what he really likes to do, he loves that spin move, man. He loves to turn his back and do a spin move. Now, Deondre Ayton, just the way the momentum was carrying him, his elbow kind of goes up. Now, remember, Alperen Sengun is a little bit lower than Deondre Ayton in this specific play. Ayton, I think this is very incidental. I don't think that he did this on purpose. I just think, once again, his momentum was carrying him, and that's why you see the elbow hit his chin, Alperen Sengun in the face. Referees review it. And, of course, with today's NBA, and we can hardly even tell what is a flagrant 1 or what is a flagrant 2 because that is very, very inconsistent in today's NBA. I didn't think it was that egregious. And I'm not just saying that because in support of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm just saying that in general. I mean, hell, you even got their own Houston Rockets staff, players, Alperen Sengun saying, yeah, I didn't think he deserved to get a flagrant 2 and get ejected. It's a little bit soft. You got Ime Udoka saying, couldn't believe that Deondre Ayton got ejected. It was a surprise. It was a flagrant 2. Him saying that's the NBA nowadays. They call it a little bit softer than they used to. Okay. So you got your own opposing team who's literally sitting there and saying that Deondre did not deserve to get ejected. So that was another storyline with this game. Lakers turnovers, inability to get back on defense as far as transition. That was the main headline. So I'm not going to blame the refs solely for this game because the Lakers had their own self-inflicting wounds. And the reason why Houston Rockets was able to jump out to a big lead because the Lakers just could not stop turning the ball over. So you get that flagrant penalty foul too. Deondre Ayton gets ejected. Do you know what really irked me? And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to follow me along when I'm saying this, is Kevin Durant. Phenomenal talent. Kevin Durant has been out majority of this series due to the knee soreness and then now due to an ankle sprain. Kevin Durant did not play last night. And we've seen the dysfunction, which I'm seeing it with my own eyes, with this Houston Rockets team. And that's why I feel like the Lakers have it's going to be a chance for them to close out the series in 5. Because you got the Houston Rockets team. You literally have them like on their heels. And so I look, and I'm seeing through Twitter, and I'm like, Kevin Durant stands up after James Williams, the referees, they signal and they rule it that Deondre Ayton received a penalty flagrant foul. Number 2, Kevin Durant stands up, and he is waving to the Lakers side. He is waving to the Los Angeles Lakers side and saying, goodbye, get out of here, doing this. He is literally doing this. And I'm like, really? This is what we're doing, Kevin Durant? Knowing that your team is down 3-0 and you're doing little gestures like this. Maybe just me that rubbed me the wrong way, irked me a little bit. But, I mean, Kevin Durant, you're trying to find a way to get yourself on this team. You're trying to figure out a way to find a way to get yourself in this rotation. Because this Houston Rockets team, they clearly need you. Now, it wasn't the case last night. They didn't need you last night. But this series, they do need you. Now, with this Lakers team, use that as motivation. Use that as fuel. Because, damn, man, the fact that we're seeing this side of the Houston Rockets, and even at the end of the game, where they're chirping, they're jawing, and they're doing all these sorts of things at the end of the game, knowing that they're down now 3-1. The Houston Rockets have more pressure than the Los Angeles Lakers, which is very, very given with the 3-1 series lead. So Lakers can use that as fuel and motivation. Now, there's even more with this referees and even more with what was going down. And we see what happened. Aduthiero comes in. We call it little garbage time minutes. I hate to say it in that time because a lot of these are useful minutes for a guy like Aduthiero trying to find his way to get into rotation, right? So Aduthiero had a good play, alley-oop lob play, which is athleticism. Hopefully he can find a way to be able to get utilized on the basketball court because you cannot waste athleticism like the way Aduthiero has. I mean, my goodness, like he can jump out the gym. So he gets into a little scuffle with Aaron Holiday. And it wasn't even that egregious. Again, little bump here and there. Aaron Holiday kind of gives him a little shove. Aduthiero falls back. All right, cool, whatever. And then what happens? James Williams decides to step in there and not receiving a warning, just to, hey, relax. End of game, man. Like, let these dudes just play. No patience whatsoever. Whack, technical foul, both of them. You know what? How about this? You guys are both gone. Ejected. Aduthiero. This guy we're talking about barely plays on the basketball court. Get ejected. And I'm like, wow. This is what we're doing. We're just literally just ejecting every single person on this team. And the technical fouls that were received. We're seeing Jackson Hayes, Maxi Kleber. I mean, how many times are we going to see these referees just get in there and just trying to dictate these basketball games? You guys heard me on my rant with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is totally different. The stuff that they were getting is totally different from this game. It is what are the referees actually seeing out there on the basketball court? Where is the line and what we're drawing as far as a flagrant foul, flagrant two, an ejection? Like there is no consistency whatsoever with that. And I'm not blaming the referees for this game. That is not the case at all. Lakers definitely lost this one. But I think that is just a storyline in itself is just allow these dudes to play, man. It's playoffs. The intensity is different. There's going to be more jawing. There's going to be more chirping. These teams see each other a lot in this series. LeBron James speaking on it, didn't really agree with the Aduthiero getting ejected. And then you see Luka Doncic, per Dave McMenamin, saying that he is going to pay Aduthiero's fine if he is to receive one. So positive, and there we go. Luka Doncic. That's why he's very, very valuable on this Lakers team because he means so much. But just to kind of, before we get into the second half of this episode and just seeing where the Lakers are at and seeing now it's time for them to close this series out because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm tired of seeing this Houston Rockets team. Send them home, send them packing, man, and let them figure out what their offseason is going to look like because they got a lot of stuff that they need to figure out in that Houston Rockets organization. But Brian, I saw Brian in the YouTube chat say earlier that the Lakers haven't turned the ball all series though. And just to elaborate more on it, yes, the Lakers haven't turned the ball over a lot all series though. But you know what was different with that when they were turning the ball over is they were still finding a way to make jump shots. Luke Kennard shot 3 of 8. Luke Kennard has been averaging 20 points in this series, off of 50% shooting from the field and about 50% from 3. Marcus Smart only had 9 points, 3 of 8 shooting. He was 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. You got a good game out of Deondre Ayton, 19 points, 10 rebounds, very, very efficient. And then Rui Hachimura had a really quiet 13.9 from Rui Hachimura. But then the biggest one is LeBron James having those 8 turnovers by himself, which is very, very uncharacteristic for LeBron James. Could fatigue set in? Yes, fatigue probably set in because there's only a game in between. Now you're telling me that this Lakers team has 2 days off. They got today, they got tomorrow, and then they got to get ready for a Wednesday. And the Houston Rockets got to come into Crypto.com Arena in a potential closeout game for the Lakers. All eyes need to be on that game because this is a good opportunity for the Lakers. Literally, send the Houston Rockets home. You're at home. The crowd's going to be lit. The crowd is going to be hyped. They're going to be in there. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be all up on their feet. what a perfect time to close the series out back at home at Crypto.com Arena. And we could be seeing someone else to return to his lineup to add even more fuel to this Lakers team. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on Austin Reeves and potentially him returning to this Lakers team for game number 5. But before we do any of that, you guys already know I have to let my partner, Temple Changa, give you guys a quick word.
At Pechanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll, sip and slide, twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
What is going on? Welcome back to Lakers Talk Daily. By the way, you guys are hilarious in here in the YouTube chat, man. Brian asked me, Deondre, new suit and tie for game number 5. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you, Brian. I may have something in store. I may try to come up with a little bit more flavor because you guys in there like to call me Stephen A. Hawkins, which I very, very, very appreciate that. But yeah, I may be trying to pull out a different type of suit. You know, if you guys have any thoughts on which color I should rock or, you know, which kind of style, you let me know. And I'll definitely take in consideration to what you guys have in store in the YouTube chat. But yeah, I do plan on having a different type of suit and tie for game number 5. But speaking of game number 5, and speaking of a player that can add a lot more to this Lakers team, and that is Austin Reeves. So Austin Reeves, per Shams Charania, could return for game 5. He was on the Pat McAfee show this morning. Of course, he was going to get asked that question in regards to Austin Reeves because we've seen Austin Reeves warming up for pregame on game 3. And we're like, oh, he could potentially return for this game. Now, very, very fortunate. Lakers did not need him on the basketball court because the Lakers still found a way to win that game. All right. Fast forward into last night's game. Austin Reeves tried to give it a go. Pregame routine, pregame warm-up. Okay. Is Austin Reeves going to be ready to go? Ruled out for game number 4. Okay. No big deal. We've seen the Lakers have success without Luka Doncic, without Austin Reeves. And then you've seen the offense. And you've seen that was at one point where you had your Luke Kennard game, you had your Marcus Smart game. On the offensive end, I'm not going to discredit because Marcus Smart has still been really, really valuable for this Lakers team on the defensive end of the basketball court. So now the question I'm going to ask you guys, seeing what last night's game and seeing how that went down and seeing how LeBron James had 8 turnovers himself, 23 at total as a team. And like Brian and you guys have been saying in the YouTube chat, that the Lakers haven't turned the ball over all series long, but they're able to get production still from Luke Kennard, from Marcus Smart, meaning scoring, knocking down the open looks, knocking down a three-point ball. They're still finding ways to win. It reminds you that they weren't giving up 115 points to the Houston Rockets in those games they were winning. Hell, there was a point where the Rockets scored less than 85 points because the Lakers' defense was flying. It was moving. Alperen Sengun was struggling against Deondre Ayton. Alperen Sengun couldn't get to his spots. He was struggling to shoot his hook shot, his baby hook shot, over Deondre Ayton. And by the way, just to kind of give you guys more insight on that, before DeAndre Ayton's ejection in game number 4, before his ejection, Alperen Sengun was, like I said, he was struggling against the duo of Ayton and Jackson Hayes. This is loading up for me real quick before I give you guys this very, very useful stat line when it comes to DeAndre Ayton. And the Rockets found success when DeAndre Ayton was contesting their shots. This is game number 4 we're talking about. Scoring 16 points on 7 of 11, which is 64%. That was a big change in the first 3 games of the series per ESPN Insights, where the Rockets scored 28 points on 14 of 42 when Ayton contested. So that means that either the Rockets are able to get into their spots. We've seen Alperen Sengun not get a couple and one layups. That was due to what happens, turnovers, Houston Rockets getting out and running, Lakers failing to get back on defense. Now, I think that's going to change in game 5. I really, really believe the intensity. I really believe the scouting report. I really believe the defense is going to wake up. I truly believe 2 days off in between is going to be very, very beneficial for this Lakers team, especially LeBron James at the age of 41. And even though DeAndre Ayton had a good offensive night scoring, defense is one of those things that we still have to count on him for. Defense and rebound. By the way, I don't really see the Lakers get beat that much on the offensive glass. Even though the Houston Rockets in total had 35 rebounds and the Lakers did have 37. So offensive rebound for Houston Rockets was not that big of a deal. I thought the Lakers did a good job as far as in that category. But my question to you guys, and we definitely going to close it out with this Austin Reeves talk, is should Austin Reeves suit up and play for the Lakers? Whether that's him being in the starting lineup, whether that's him, I see you guys in there saying that just give him 10 to 15 minutes, hell, maybe cap him at 20 minutes. Should Austin Reeves return to this Lakers team? And my answer for that is I do want to see Austin Reeves play. I do want to see Austin Reeves back in this Lakers lineup because we need to find someone else to be another ball handler. Marcus Smart, as well of a job as he's done being the ball handler, as well of a job Luke Kennard has done as a ball handler, we still see LeBron James now bringing up the ball. That's not what we want to do with LeBron James. Why do you think LeBron James is doing so well in that third option? You got two ball handlers in Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. LeBron James does not have to worry about bringing the ball up and setting the Lakers up in their offense, which he has to do in this series with both of them out, which is not a big deal. Lakers still found success to win these games. But when you throw Austin Reeves in the mix, we got to understand that's throwing another account that the Houston Rockets got to throw another look at a guy like him because Austin Reeves can score. He can get to the free throw line. He can take guys off the dribble. His one-dribble pull-up is good. That is what the Lakers are missing is another go-to scorer. Even though you're getting that out of Luke Kennard early on this series, even though you've gotten that out of Marcus Smart in game number 2, you're going to need Austin Reeves more on the offensive end of the floor. Now you guys are going to be there like, well, what about the defensive end? How is Austin Reeves going to help the Lakers defensively? And I just look at, well, they're able to hide Luke Kennard. And honestly, not even hide him. Luke Kennard has actually done a great job rotating, being in the right spots. I broke down a defensive game plan for you guys last week on Lakers Talk Daily. Is when the Lakers were blitzing Kevin Durant, and you see a guy like Clint Capella roll to the basket, or you see a guy like Alperen Sengun roll to the basket. Luke Kennard actually did a good job of being there on the catch, forcing the Rockets to kick out. And the Houston Rockets, what do they not like to do? They're not a good three-point shooting team. And that's why last night's game, the Rockets had a lot of favor because they were able to get to the basket. They were able to get to the cup. They were able to get to a lot of and one buckets, which Lakers are going to limit that. But when you add a guy like Austin Reeves, a guy you know that can get you 20, 25 points, known to get to the free throw line, and it's going to change up a whole different look with the way this Houston Rockets team is going to have to defend. Austin Reeves is going to have to be able to defend himself. And I think that's why a lot of you are saying, let's hold off on it, because we've seen what Austin Reeves has done in the playoffs against the Minnesota Timberwolves in that series, and you're seeing how his numbers are really low and he's very, very inefficient. I understand all that. But who knows? Could this be a different type of Austin Reeves in the playoff mix? The only thing is that's going to be a little different, though, is there's no ramp-up time for him. He missed a couple weeks. He has not been on the basketball court. So that is another thing we got to keep our eyes on, is that he might not go in there and score efficient like he's done throughout this entire regular season. No, he might go in there and struggle a little bit because game time jump shots, game time rhythm, playoff movement, all those different types of things are a factor that we have to take in consideration, because we always said the playoffs, the intensity, the energy, it rises. All those things rise when you get into a playoff series. Only thing why I'm saying that, yes, I would love to see Austin Reeves, and this is where I'm going to just say it, is that he adds so many layers to this Lakers team. I mentioned the ball handling. I mentioned all that stuff as far as, hey, let's see if LeBron James can get to his spot. Okay? Instead of him having to bring the ball up, what's LeBron James been doing this series? He gets to that mid-range, mid-post, backs his defenders down, You see him sometimes get to the lane. If not, when they draw the double team, LeBron James is able to kick out. Can you imagine if it's Austin Reeves on the basketball floor with LeBron James kicking out for a wide open look? Okay, think about that. And then we see Luke Kennard trying to get this Lakers team in the offense. Now, can you imagine if that's Austin Reeves setting up the mix? Then you see Luke Kennard coming off of a down screen or Luke Kennard coming off a screen. Then you see him being able to attack and drive. It creates just a more fluid offense for this team. And moments like we seen last night when the turnovers were a big issue, you have Austin Reeves, you can slow it down a little bit. You can get a good look. You can get a good shot. And I think the just most eye-opening thing is when there's a scoring drought and you need someone to get you a bucket, who is that? It's Austin Reeves. He can get you a bucket. He can get you to the free throw line. He can get you to the mid-range. He can knock down a three-point ball. He is a shot creator. Take guys off the dribble. And when he gets into that lane, if they do decide to help, then what happens? His ability to kick out and find the open man. That is what the Lakers are going to be able to have if he were to be available. Now, there might be some minutes restriction, 15 to 20 minutes, but I would love to see Austin Reeves in this Lakers lineup because I just feel like the Houston Rockets will not have any single answer for him being in the mix. We've seen the success that they had in those 2 games in Houston when it was Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. And we went into this series like, there's no way in hell this Lakers team has a chance. At least that's my thought process. I thought they wouldn't have a chance, especially when you have 2 of your main scorers and your ball handlers not playing. And Lakers have proved all of us wrong by taking that 3-0 series lead, now it being 3-1. And I just keep on going back to, if they're able to have that success with both of them in the lineup in Houston in the regular season, and they're able to translate that and do the same thing in the first 3 games of this playoff series, and you still have Austin Reeves back, that is a boost. And that's something that is going to help this Lakers team out to get ready and close out Game 5. Because, like you guys have been saying, let's get this damn series over and let's send KD home packing. Let's send the damn Houston Rockets home packing. But to finish off Lakers Talk Daily today, and you guys are saying Lakers don't have a true point guard out there. We better be ready for Game 5 and take care of the ball. And then the hat box says Game 5 would be perfect game to get AR back into it. Not Game 1 versus OKC. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to focus on the OKC right now. I think the biggest focus is just trying to see if this Lakers team can close out the series. Because you don't want to get into a situation where you lose Game 5, and then you got to go back to Houston, and then that game is going to be up in the air. All the energy, the attention on Game 5, like you guys are saying, find a way to limit the turnovers. Find a way to cut that in half. Find a way to get a good offense. Find a way to get good ball movement, good player movement. Also, do what you're able to do defensively by as soon as Operation Boom catches the ball, the paint needs to be collapsed, forcing him to kick out. Make the Houston Rockets a jump shooting team. If you play their style of basketball and you allow them to get up and down the basketball court, you can't get down in transition, advantage them. I understand the Lakers are having to turn the ball over a lot throughout this entire series, and that has been the big story for them. But remember, they were able to get a Luke Kennard game. They were able to get a Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart game. And then they were able to get a Marcus Smart not quitting late in the game steal, being able to get fouled on three-point line, knocking down all 3 free throws. LeBron James able to poke the ball loose from Reed Shepherd. Lakers didn't quit. They played all the way through the entire game. LeBron James knocks down a three-point ball. Let's set it to overtime. And that's when Lakers knew they were going to win as soon as the game went into overtime. Situations like that were able to happen for the Lakers. That was not the case last night. So to kind of put a close into this, the Rockets were very, very desperate, like Beto Duran has been saying. Shout out Beto Duran being in here for Lakers Talk Daily in the YouTube chat. The Rockets were desperate. Now, the Lakers got to find a way to be desperate to close this series out. Game 5 is on Wednesday. Game number 5 is on Wednesday. Can this Lakers team close out the series? Is Austin Reeves going to return to this Lakers lineup to provide more offensively for this Lakers team? You guys in the YouTube chat, you guys are great, man. I'm very, very grateful for you guys, and thank you for always tuning into Lakers Talk Daily. Beto, I see you in there, man. I see you in there. And for my crew back there running this operation, Brooke and Carlo, thank you guys so much. But we're going to talk more about game number 5 heading into Wednesday for tomorrow. But as always, I'll see you guys later. Your boy's out.